Access to higher education has increased dramatically in recent decades, but not all universities and colleges welcome applications with open arms. Strong academic performance and test results can improve your prospects, but they might not be enough. Join Viewcation as we take a look at the hardest colleges to get into in 2023. Harvard University. Harvard is the envy of other schools and the desired destination of so many high-achieving teenagers. There are more than 32,000 students enrolled at this private Ivy League institution. Harvard presently holds the title of being the most challenging school to get into, with an all-time low acceptance rate of about 3.19% for the class of 2026. Out of the total number of 61,220 applicants, only 1,954 were admitted. Harvard takes into account a candidate's overall character and potential in addition to their academic performance when determining admissions selections. The school makes an earnest effort to read each application thoroughly and learn about each applicant's academic goals, personal history, and extracurricular strengths. Admissions authorities rely significantly on recommendations, interviews, and extracurricular activities to find exceptional candidates. An unbelievable 84% of accepted students choose to attend. That is to say, very few high schoolers consider Harvard an alternative. Stanford University. Stanford is one of the world's best research institutions and a top workforce supplier for the technology sector, and it's situated in the center of Silicon Valley. It has an acceptance rate of 3.95% for the class of 2025, placing it marginally below Harvard. In 2021, the institution had a 23% increase, or about 10,000 applications, over 2020's numbers. In spite of this, just 2,190 people out of a total of 55,000 or so were admitted. The admission rate for the class of 2026 hasn't yet been made public, but it's probably around or slightly below the rate from the previous year. Academic performance is the primary consideration in the admissions process at Stanford, but the university takes into account things like extracurricular activities and personalized essays. Princeton University. With an acceptance percentage of only 4.38% for the incoming class of 2025, Princeton is among the most selective universities in the world. Only 1,647 of the 37,000 or so people who applied were accepted. Unfortunately, the school has decided not to release information about the class of 2026's acceptance rate. This Ivy League school actively seeks out applicants who will enrich campus life and the diversity of its student body. Princeton does not need any particular GPA or number of AP or honors credits from its candidates, but it does look favorably on those who have taken demanding coursework. Applicants at Princeton are more likely to be accepted if they have outstanding academic credentials as well as a history of significant extracurricular achievement. California Institute of Technology. Caltech, located in Pasadena, California, is widely regarded as one of the most competitive institutions in the United States. It's a prestigious research university, and it accepted a mere 3.92% of freshman applicants for the 2025 academic year. There were 13,000 candidates, but only 510 were accepted. Statistics for 2026 haven't been released, but we know that the highly selective university admitted significantly fewer students than usual this year. When selecting new students, Caltech looks for those with a passion for science, engineering, mathematics, and technology, especially in the areas of chemistry, physics, and mathematics. In addition, individuals who have demonstrated an aptitude for teamwork, originality, and perseverance are also favored. Caltech places high importance on individuals with interests and hobbies outside of the STEM fields. Yale University. With an admission rate of 4.47% for the incoming class of 2026, Yale remains among the most competitive universities in the country. This is a tiny decrease from the acceptance rate it had for 2025. Of the 50,000 people who applied, only 2,234 were accepted. The admissions criteria are a bit different from those of other Ivies. Yale is primarily interested in two qualities: the potential to make a positive impact in the world at large, and the potential to make effective use of Yale's resources. Even though non-academic elements are included, Yale is still an extremely selective university. The primary goal of admissions officials is to discover students with outstanding talent and academic promise based on a mix of grade point average, standardized test scores, and course load. MIT. The acceptance percentage for the incoming class of 2026 at MIT, a top technical university, is shockingly low at 3.96%. Overall compatibility with the institution is the most weighted factor in determining admission, but academic performance on standardized tests is still considered. Admissions officers at MIT look for applicants with a collaborative mindset and commitment to helping their classmates succeed. It's also important for MIT applicants to have experience working in teams, as the majority of classes in laboratories are structured around group projects. Students who aren't afraid to try new things and fail sometimes aren't given as much attention at MIT. MIT does not factor in legacy status when deciding who to admit. This means having a parent or sibling who's an alum does not improve your chances of getting in. Using its rigorous admissions standards and extensive educational resources, MIT seeks the brightest and most inventive minds in mathematics, the sciences, engineering, and allied subjects. University of Chicago. The University of Chicago has joined the ranks of Stanford, Yale, and Columbia as one of the most selective universities in the world. About half of those who applied in 2005 were accepted by the institution, but that is radically different now. Incredibly, only 5% of applicants were accepted into the class of 2025. This means that out of 37,977 applicants, a mere 1,898 were admitted. The average SAT score needed for admission to the university is 1545. Starting last year, the university began a test-optional admissions system. The undergraduate division of the University of Chicago is known as the College, and it grants BA and BS degrees in roughly 50 different majors and subfields. Columbia University. Columbia has an acceptance rate of 3.73% for the incoming class of 2026, making it among the most competitive university in the U.S. Of the 60,000 people who applied, only about 2,200 were admitted. This rate is a tad lower than the 3.9% seen last year. When deciding which undergraduates to accept, Columbia considers a wide range of factors. These include extracurricular activities, community service, and leadership experience, in addition to academic performance. The university will consider your grades and the level of difficulty and breadth of your course selections. Not only do grades and test scores matter to Columbia, but so do extracurriculars and recommendations from others. Your capacity to make a good impact on your school is strongly correlated with your degree of participation both within and beyond the classroom. A total of 90 different bachelor's degrees are available, and the university boasts a graduation rate of 95% on average and a student-to-teacher ratio of 6:1. Brown University. The biggest number of candidates in Brown's history were received this year, resulting in a record low acceptance percentage of 5.03%. Of 50,000 candidates, only 2,500 were ultimately accepted. Each application is given a thorough analysis, taking into account the applicant's high school performance and any relevant extracurricular activities and achievements. The culture of Brown places a high value on participation outside the classroom. Thus, your extracurricular achievements will play a significant role in determining whether you'll be accepted. Admissions officers at Brown read essays and conduct interviews to identify candidates who will enrich and enhance the university's intellectual community. Now it's time to hear from you. Would you consider applying to one of these fine institutions? Let us know in the comments section below.